Are your New Orleans Pelicans up next? How can they be elite? I actually have somebody, your partner, but also a member of the media, kind of tie the two together. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, and if you don't know, you're about to. But first,
You must know that first. Can't nothing and nobody fade what we trying to do and what we about to do. Second thing is, we got this game on our level. You understand what I'm saying?
welcome to another episode of In Space. I am your host, Chris Connor here. Shout out to all the good people at DraftKings, all our sponsors, Birdsall Law Firm, Yangermeister as well. And I got a special guest, homie of mine, collaborator. We got something really dope that I'm hella excited about that he put together. My man's a writer, my man's an artist, my man's a designer. He's in the media, sports media. I saw him involved in golf media. He does a little bit of everything. You may know him as Jared. I know him as Five. What's going on, brother?
What's poppin', Chris? I appreciate that. You know, that might be the greatest, not talking about my intro, but that's the greatest intro of all time is Birdman talking how he talk, man. I don't know how you know what's so good about that? You use it with everybody, every show, no matter who's the guest. You know, I got this is Birdman. This is third one, you know.
I mean, he transcends any subject. I mean, if somebody, you got some people that'll be like, I like that. You got some people that are confused. Some people that tell me after the show and be like, hey, I like that you did that. I was like, all right, hey man.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you on camera. I'm gonna tell you on wax, man.
Appreciate it, brother. So, man, this is of course a Pelican show, so we will get into a little bit of Pelicans talk, specifically in regards to the event that you attended that is still going on today. It's a wonderful basketball camp that happened in the city yesterday, as well as today, Saturday and Sunday. It's been going on for a little bit. I know it happened last year. Ja Morant pulled up, and this year you got a lot of different special appearances from Jose Alvarado to Herb Jones and Trey today. Yesterday you got T Morant, CJ McCollum. I mean, it was really cool, and I like from what I saw. You were there, and I would love, and we're gonna get into what your observations and what you got a chance to see. But I mean, everything that I saw, man, from like the education to the drills to Coach B, player development coach with the Pelicans, kind of running, being a part of some drills. It's really cool, man. The kids get to actually see all of these different elements of, whether it be personal examples, seeing things visually on film, and then actually going out to have to execute these things and working on their game and just, learning some jewels in the meantime.
I'll be honest. I even told Brandon, be great, and a couple of the guys on the staff, like, I'm really impressed by it because you don't. These are, I think, you were like 8th and 9th graders, 8th, 9th, and 10th graders, right? And you usually don't see this. I didn't see this. I didn't get this when I was in 8th grade, going to camps like LSU camps and these other camps around. They're talking about screening and rescreening and who's the low man, and like they literally start the day off by showing video, right? They're breaking down literally NBA film, clip by clip, trying to get the kids to understand. The kids are taking notes. Like everybody's has a pen and paper, and they're taking notes on exactly what they're talking about. And Brandon's like walking them through it, which is really good. And then they actually implement exactly what they were talking about. So to see it and then do it and then go over it and try to see if they can kind of, implement it via 5-on-5 may be different, but to see it is a great thing. A lot of drills, defensive drills, trying to get the kids to understand like rotations and closeouts. It was good to see. I was really impressed by everything that they had going on. Of course, the people that pulled up were great speakers, but I was impressed by the actual drills and stuff that they were kind of going through.
Yeah, man. The current conversation that I hear a lot around youth basketball is the game isn't taught the same. Kids aren't being taught the fundamentals at the same level that say I mean, if we're talking you and I or previous generations were, but I like things like this because it shows that maybe some are trying to take it even beyond that. Like you mentioned, to camps that I went to, I remember going to spending the summer out here in Chicago, and I went to Antoine Walker's camp. And we wasn't learning nothing about the game. It was literally just like basketball summer camp. That's really what it was. We ate, we went through some drills, got a chance to meet Antoine. You were divided up into teams and had little tournaments and stuff. And that was really it, bonding with other folks. But it was nothing in regards to, we going to break down the game. Everybody going to be involved in this, and y'all really going to learn something. Y'all going to think differently about basketball versus this is something to do. And now we get to be around players.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I remember growing up, and the Pelicans had a camp in Hammond once, and we thought we were going to get Chris Paul. We ended up getting Birdman. It was like, this dude's not teaching us anything. We just played 5-on-5. Shout out to my man Colin, because he can tell you this story verbatim. Like, we was like, hey, get out of here. We just going to hoop. It's cool that you pulled up. Appreciate the T-shirts, but we just hit a hoop. But, they were doing drills like screen and roll, read screen, and as the screen happens, the guy in the strong side corner, he comes up because of you taking the screen, and then they're doing the hook pass. Like, you don't see this at regular camps. I like, it is not normal to see, and it's cool to see that it's happening in New Orleans because most people won't think this is like a basketball market, but no, people like basketball here. But it's the level of training, let's say the skill level of training for football supersedes, the level of training for basketball. That's just what it is right now. Until that kind of migrates and improves, then you might see the level of talent rise as well.
Okay, so before we get into the Pelicans, I mean, I saw Will Guillory there, some other media members. I saw Rail in the building. So it was, it definitely looked like you had some notable people that, that whether create content, write, or record about the team there to kind of cover the event. What was the energy like, man? And what was your favorite part from your day being there, day one?
It was a cold gym. I hate cold gym. Why basketball is cold? It was cold as I don't know what. But like, I just want to shout out JT, Brian, James, and Brandon, like running this camp, putting this on. It was good to see the vibe was there. It wasn't just, you see T. Morant there. No, like he's in the drills. These guys were in the drills, coaching at all costs, like showing 2-on-1s, understanding like who's the man, like ball pressure, getting into the ball. Paul, like there's so many things that could have. You go to these camps. Some of these guys aren't trying to. They just be there for the show. No, they're in the drills, talking in the drills. It was cool to see. T. Morant. Let's talk about them. And you're like, wait, why are they here? Why are they in New Orleans? I think the connection is, I think JT is one of Ja's basketball trainers, and I guess the connection is so strong that he's allowed them. I think Ja sponsors all the guys had on Ja Morant shoes. So it was them, and the fact that his dad was there in place of Ja, like that's not, I wouldn't say it's like uncommon for it to happen, but he was speaking on his behalf, and he literally got emotional talking about Ja in this situation. Was I think probably one of the bright moments of the camp, because these kids are coming from probably similar situations that probably Ja's been in, right? Not say like, okay, they don't have $200 million, but being around people that can probably get you in trouble or doing things that are beneath you, right? And he's saying like, it's not the people that Ja is around, it's not their fault. It's Ja's fault for allowing it to happen. Imagine, like, that is a father taking responsibility, telling his son, like, no, that's on you. And telling the world that, regardless, Rail's post kind of got all around really quickly, but look at him taking responsibility for it. Like, no, I'm telling my son it's his fault. I'm not enabling him. You may think that I am because I'm loud and I'm boisterous and I'm this and I'm at every game. No, he checks his son. He understands. Ja's uncle, which is there too, and like I met him briefly, right? The whole team is there, and he's explaining things too. Like Ja has a very, very strong team behind him. Very, very genuine people behind him. Like to see it up close and personal, like they were genuine. Like you wouldn't know. He dap you off just like he dapped anybody else. Like they don't think that they don't think of themselves as higher than They're just regular people. They just have a son that's in the NBA.
Man, that's dope because I didn't know. I was a little confused until I put the pieces together about last year's camp. And I mean, and look, and Jod spins. He's not a dude that even when the team plays out here, you'll find Jod in the streets, right? I mean, he has some type of love for the city of New Orleans. And it's dope to see his family even being involved, for something like for 2 days. Their kids there, they won't forget this, right? Everybody, almost every kid there, I guarantee you, knows who John Morant is. They have an idea who T is, right? So being able to see that, play basketball, have fun, learn something, but also get some life, life verbal lessons from people that, from actual sources, it goes a long way. I ain't have shit like that.
One more point. This dude took pictures with everybody that asked. Like he stopped what he was doing, turned around, took a picture, had a conversation with you, laughs, giggles. Like this dude, it seems like he's like one of the funniest people one of his people in the gym. But like he would stop what he was doing, take a picture with you, have a conversation with you. It was almost like he's from here. It almost felt that way. Like, all right, he get it. He's here. Like I see him more than some other people's parents. Like it's cool to see, to be able to, have a conversation with a guy like that.
Well, yeah, that was once again the Up Next Elite Camp. Took place Saturday and Sunday, August 19th and 20th. I believe at this point it's going to be an annual thing. So if you guys missed any of the highlights, any of the things that were said, there's a bunch of media, pictures and comments and press clippings from things that were said that's out there on Twitter, and you can definitely tap in. Would be great. Five has something on his social media, on his Twitter. They're showing pictures. It just was awesome to see all the things that came out from there. I believe it was also sponsored by Jet Life as well. So there were a lot of important, I think, people that notable people that played roles in this, and it's cool, especially when the kids, the youth, are involved. So let's move forward here and bring it Pelicans related, and then we'll wrap up Five. We've talked endlessly about the Pelicans, and we are in the dog days of summer. Brandon's overplaying, trying to make his best Royce O'Neal impression of Team USA. Trey and her both on a select team, but you saw them back in the city. A lot of people are in the facilities working out. We saw pictures of Zion recently, which I know a lot of people were either nosy or excited about to see. But tying the camp and tying this team together, what do you think has to happen with what this team currently is constructed with for the Pelicans to be up next? We thought last year was the year that they were up next. We thought that was going to be the year where everything, and there was a point where it felt like it was arriving sooner than we expected, and now you're back to square one in a lot of different ways. What do you think has to happen? I mean, let's say even between now and the start of the season for this team to be right back on track of being up next in the NBA.
I think it's already happening, right? I think from the conversations that I even gathered at the camp between, you saw Sebron there, EJ there, CJ, Jose, like these guys are here and they're here consistently. And even today, Trey and Herb were there. Like, to be in the gym around the guys that you're going to be playing with is key. I think it kind of builds that said foundation that you kind of need, that you've been struggling with. The cohesiveness, everybody knows what their role is. Brandon's struggling with that right now over in Team USA. Maybe if now, like, these guys are getting together, they don't have to struggle with that in December, understanding what roles they're in when they kind of have a foundation now. But it's good to see. I think them having getting James Borrego, hopefully there's like multiple conversations with him about roles and how they want to play. Once they understand what they want to do and can do that consistently, then I believe the Pelicans are up next.
So a lot when you listen to a lot of people talk about the team, they kind of base it around health. And I think that's I don't want to say it's necessarily lazy, but that's half the work when talking about basketball, right? Even with the some of the top end talent and some of the progressions that that could take forth and some of the leaps and people picking up where they left off playing, and we know all the chatter around Zion, Brandon, and CJ. Could this be their last year together? Playing for something that hasn't lasted. It hasn't lasted very long at all. But what I'm curious about from a basketball perspective, and I know you brought up Borrego. Outside of health, from a fit and from a structure perspective, from an organizational perspective, just when these guys are healthy, when they are playing games, what do you think needs to improve in that area? Because to me, health is only it's a big part of the battle, but once you get there, it's only half of it.
Listen, I actually had this conversation yesterday with an NBA player. Like I literally had this conversation about the Pelicans and fit with an NBA player, understanding what that is for this team. Now we may have disagreed, but I actually believe like, okay, you know what you have to just design a system that works for you, right? And do that consistently. Zion wants to get downhill. CJ and BI want to play in the mid-range. They kind of go against each other a little bit, right? Let's operate at a different fashion. Maybe it's more Brandon breaking the ball up and him being more of a facilitator, and then CJ being more of a spot-up shooter. Now, health provided, maybe that can work for you. But, contrary to last year, CJ had to do more because he was the only one out there. So we don't necessarily know, like, okay, this isn't going to work because we don't know. We haven't seen it. So I think it can work because Brandon is best with the ball in his hand. You can see it in FIBA. Like when he has the ball in his hand and he gets a rebound and going, like he's making these cross-court passes, getting it back. He's a trail three. Like that's him. That's his best bet. And now in the half court, he wants to play in the mid-range. That's what he wants to do. But let's bring it out a little bit. He has to shoot more threes. I think the team understands that. Hopefully just he understands that.
No. Fair enough. I think with this team, it's when you only play, a handful of games, and in my opinion, I mean, from a fit perspective, even dating back to the healthiest that the Pelicans were, mainly Zion and Brandon together in the Stan Van Gundy setup, when they both played 60 games apiece, there was still questions to be answered there about how to make those two work best together. Now you're adding other talented players that all have things to offer, that all have areas that they want to work at. Some of this you have to figure out by playing time together. I know Borrego has been active in having as many conversations as he can with people in the systems, kind of trying to let them know what he expects. They let them know what they expect, and trying to figure out as early, kind of getting a head start on, a season that's quickly approaching. Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I am going to get a word here from our good people at DraftKings, and then I'm going to come back and ask you a couple media questions, man. You going into your second year full time. I want to know one thing that you learned, and I want to know what you are excited about in your second year, your sophomore year, being a member of the media here. Give me 1 second.
With the NFL season right around the corner, nonstop football action is in sight. You can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app before kickoff. Use code BOOT to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you just bet $5 on any NFL bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOT. The crown is yours.
First
that's
off,
a go. Yeah.
My bad. Doesn't Justin have a real commercial voice?
Either that or bill collector.
Maybe, yeah. I heard that voice a couple times in my lifetime. So yeah, you got
it. So Bob, I want to talk media here, man. I think one thing I respect about you is that, like, and I think I can tell that you are someone that has a kind of a hardworking mindset approaching things, because you're very humble about this media experience. Like, yeah, it's just, it's just a part of something else that I do, which, is dope. And that shows people that has a bunch of different talents that they end up doing. No, it's just something else what I do. Almost as if like this isn't, even if you didn't expect to be here, it wasn't nothing that was too large of a task. But I say that to say, like, when I was 16, I thought I was gonna be writing for somebody. I thought I was gonna be like I wanted to go to school for journalism. I wanted to go, and there was I was out here in Illinois, and there's an Illinois Center for Broadcasting. I remember I wanted to sign up, and I went and took like the little they take you through the facility and everything. And I thought, man, I was like, they started talking numbers. My parents were there. I'm like, man, we gonna do this. And I remember I left. My dad was like, so you want to be a DJ? And I'm like, huh? And then it was funny. 2 days later, I'm sitting there. My mom got the news up, and they showing the hardest working fields like in America for whatever year it was, and journalism came up there. I'm sitting here like, what's happening here? So I remember I eventually ended up blogging, and then that kind of got the wheels going, turning from there. But I being involved in the facility, being able to watch things live, being able in practice, I've done it a couple times, but it's not the same as someone who's there every single day, who's covering the game, who's talking to media. There's a lot of things that you hear that that you can say, and a lot of things that you can't say. It's a lot of private conversations, a lot of things that that isn't privy to others. And sometimes you just got to keep it in your pocket. But last year was year one in full for you, and I think that's a hell of an accomplishment, especially being a Black man, and you've had a lot of different people in this region that to be honest, have come and gone, have kind of fallen out of favor. Here you are at year 2, being someone that's respected doing it. So partially giving you your flowers, but if you can summarize it, even for someone that's listening, that's thinking it's something that they may want to do one day, what was year 1 like, and what are you looking forward to in year 2?
Year 1 was cool. Like I didn't think, like you said, I feel like I'm a man of many talents. I could do a lot of different things. I actually went to school for journalism at first. Okay. And I think me and you might have seen the same thing. Like, wait, like I think I'm in year 2, almost 3. And I'm like, wait, Cat's not making a lot of money. I just had a kid. I'm like, this is not it. Like, how can I parlay this into something else that's going to be useful for me later on down the road? So I went the PR route, where I can do marketing and I can write at the same time. It's kind of how it felt. And it was an easy transition for me. But I mean, this year was cool. Like there were some ups and downs. Like that, let's not get it twisted. It was not all peachy cream. I had a lot of conversations with some people about things that I just didn't know and I wasn't privy to. And you're not going to know until you're in there. You're not going to know, like, hey, this might be the route, which is really cool. And you start to understand like how things go. You may not like them, but you kind of have to accept them for what they are. You know your boundaries, different people. You start to read people a little bit better as well. And I think I'm a good judgment of that, but sometimes you're wrong. And that's okay. You just have to kind of pick up the pieces and go. But year 1 was cool. There was a lot of things. I think the best part about it was, one, it's the people that you meet, not necessarily like the players. It's the people inside the building, right? You did a show with somebody that I adore. When I see her, it's all smiles, it's all daps, it's all laughs, even on Twitter. There's no cutting the corners with her, and I think she's been a great help for me. But to lead on to that, is like you meet people inside the building that really care about the team. Even the ushers. I think that's probably my thing that I enjoy the most, is meeting the same people and seeing them. Like there's this one usher that I see all the time. She gives me kisses on my cheek, and we talk about different things. I think she's flirting with me, but I flirt back with her, just to keep a smile on her face. And she'll ask for like a Sprite when I'm going to the back. And I'll bring it to her. It's very, you're like, Jared, what does that do? You never know what that does, because maybe she might hear a conversation that I couldn't hear and she'll tell me something because you never know what that'll lead to. And I think year one has been that. It's the unknown and exploring the unknown. Now that I do know, what do I do with it? Do I have a sophomore slump? I hope not, but I don't think I will. I think it's good going. I have good energy going into year two. I know what to expect, but also there are things that I don't know what to expect. So the mystery is still there.
Well, the good thing is, man, you got a lot of people, this in your corner, whether you know it or not, that's this on along that journey with you. Maybe not in regards to tenure, but a lot of people that, I remember talking to Rod Walker. He had nice things, had nice things to say about you, right? And I know you said yeah. Rod's been great. Cause look, bro, man, I attended one media day, and I walked in that facility, and it was like outside of people I was with, even some of the people that I was with, because Ali, this one I was with the Bird Rights. Grub was already there, Ali kind of walked me through some, but I started looking around, and it was like, well, they ain't gonna put the training wheels on for you. You just gotta figure out, because they got shit, they got jobs that they got to do as well. And I'm telling y'all, anybody that's listening to this, like some of y'all, man, some of these people make this shit look easier than it really is. Some of the questions that five asked, bro. Cause look, when I sat down there for media day, anytime I have to ask questions, it's like there's part of your brain that like, I hope this ain't a dumb question. And I'm thinking in my head, like, you up there a little nervous. Now, you may have practiced, you may have written this shit down, but having to come up to, for it to land, for it to work, and for it to come out exactly the way it was in your brain, and it's just asking the fucking question, someone piercing down in your fucking into your brain. It is not what you guys think it is. I promise you, it is not. It can be fucking scary, but the good ones, they make that shit look easy.
Yo, Chris, let me tell you this. Media day, my first day doing this. Justin had gave us those blue Nike Pro Pels Boot Crew Media shirts. Cool.
Yeah.
It's baby blue. Bro, I'm sweating. I'm like, this might not be a good look. Yeah, hold tight. It's cold in there. I'm still like, oh man, you see all these people. Zion's. This is like Zion's first day back. CJ's first press conference. So I'm trying to understand, like, all right, how does this go? Like, you see who kind of goes first. And shout out to Will. Shout out to my man at ESPN. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me because his name is escaping me right now. Oh my God, Andrew Lopez. Shout out to Andrew.
Yeah.
Even CC, Christian Clark. Like these dudes, although you may not think like, they all have different stories and different angles. Like they'll help you. Like if you just talk to them and be cool about it, they'll help you. Shout out to Rod. Shout out to Ali, Grub, all of them. Even Dotson, like, me and Dotson probably really cool, probably the closest between us. Just they'll help you kind of navigate kind of where you want to go. Everybody has their own angle. I'm not trying to steal nothing from them. I hope they don't do the same to me, but it's all conversational. But when the people walk in the room, it's like a switch hits, boom, and you got to get to it. And you're like, oh fuck, this is real. And the question that I asked, this is when I knew was like, okay, I can do this. There was a question to Garrett Temple, right? And to be honest, I had no real inclination that his grandfather and Bill Russell had any kind of connection. I just knew that there was a chance that Garrett would talk about history and his grandfather and how that connected to Bill Russell. There's really no record book of them like intertwining, but I even went to look it up after. I'm like, how I wouldn't have known this. But the fact that it landed like that, it just can happen. And that's when I knew, I'm like, all right, God has placed me here for a reason. I can do this. I just have to walk in a certain path and go through the trials of it to get where I really want to go.
Man, well said. Well, this is why it's always fun talking to people that you have, relationships with. And because I think subconsciously somewhere I was like, man, I want to have a conversation with Five at some point about his first year in media. While we talked about some of the things that have happened, what that happened last year, some good, some bad.
Yeah.
Some that pissed you off and some that made you feel like, all right, you know what I mean? But it's always about the journey, right? So I appreciate you sharing that with you, man. Listen, I mean, ain't no question. Year 2 gonna be, just another walk in the park as far as I'm concerned. You continue, but won't be a sophomore slump, as you said, brother. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Yeah, look, that was pretty much it, y'all. The Pels are up next. They will find a way, hopefully, to be elite. If y'all got a chance, please go check out all the different highlights from the camp. Please go watch the previous show that I did with Shamika. And 5, closing out, is there anything article based, anything production based that you have upcoming?
I got something cooking. Maybe if I get these approvals out the way, maybe I can kind of get that posted. But kind of want to talk about a couple different things. I've taken a little hiatus from writing a little bit, just to give myself a break. Trying to understand like exactly what I want to do and kind of how I want to go about it. But I think one's coming up, and I think you guys are gonna really like it.
For 5, for Chris, now you're gonna get us out of here.
In the building. I told you last time, get with us. Well, get out of here, man.